Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning for Chalk with Kathy. Chalk and Talk. Oh my goodness. I do apologize. I just not quite sure what happened. I had 2 alarms set and obviously I slept through both of them, which is very, very unusual for me. Quick little project today that I'm going to distress. So I'm going to get started with that right now. This is our house shelf sitter. It's a nice 3/4 inch thick, like our regular shelf sitters. And this one happens to be 7 inches tall and 5 inches wide. And I'm going to do a quick little distressing of the edges, at least on one side, before I actually get started with chalking this. And yes, I am using an acrylic nail file. I'm coming at you live from the suburbs west of Chicago. Drop me a line, let me know where you're viewing from. As you can see, it doesn't really take a whole lot to distress. Our cutouts. And I'm distressing it before I chalk so that when I wax, I actually even get the distress part, just in case I end up distressing somewhere where my chalk paste would be going. Sometimes I just do the edges. Sometimes I do a little bit more into the body of a piece. Really kind of depends on what kind of look I'm angling for. And generally I'll use a sanding block, but I think for edges, interestingly enough, the acrylic file works pretty dang good. So that's what I'm using this morning. And I'm going to go into the body a little bit on this. I want a little bit of a weathered look. I don't want it to look brand new. So that's what I'm going for. Just a little bit more and we'll be ready to get going with this. Woo! And look at green juice this morning. Yes, really green juice, no coffee, no mocha. I thought, let me get some vitamins in me while I can, especially some fruit. I actually like the green juice, but I don't drink a lot of juice because I try and limit my carbs to a certain extent, but I've been off of that for a bit, so it's time to get back on it. However, the green juice is pretty tasty. It's apple and pineapple and kiwi and I'm trying to think, apple, pineapple, kiwi. There's some banana in there, and then there's of course spirulina and broccoli. And don't grimace, seriously, it's very tasty. You don't taste any of the greens at all. I personally like broccoli, but I know some people don't. Yeah, let me just clean that up a little bit. I know I smeared it. Actually, it's kind of what I'm looking for. Okay, it does look like it's been around the block a bit. So let me clean off my surface here. And we'll get to chalking. Easy way. I was trying to figure out what colors I really wanted to use on this, and I really liked the cranberry jam on yesterday's project, so I'm going to use that for the hearts on this, but I'm going to give it more of a gray paste, and for some reason I cannot find my storm paste, so I'm going to do a little mixing up of my bright white and my black to get my own little storm, if you will. So let me do that right now. Oops, it's my shimmer shadow. I don't want shimmer shadow. My black velvet. Generally, our paste has a black lid, and our inks have a white. It's a way of differentiating one from the other and not inadvertently grabbing one when you want the other. But of course, because of the supply chain issues with COVID, there have been issues. So we have a mixture, and we actually even have purple on some items right now, just because of the issues that everybody seems to be having. So just know that in normal times, I'm going to need to add a little bit more white to this. In normal times, our paste lids are black, our ink lids are white. It's a little bit too dark for me, so let me add a little more bright white to it. Isn't it fun to mix up your own colors? Don't get me wrong, I like having lots of different choices ready mixed and ready to go. But I also like the fact that I can mix my own if I either can't find one, or I've run out, or whatever. Ooh, I might need to add a little bit more white here. And I guess I do. Almost there. And keep my fingers out of the paste would help. Somehow I ended up getting the black on here. Let me clean that off. I don't want to put a stir stick with anything, a dirty stir stick into my white paste. Okay, there we go. That should be enough. Oh yeah, this is looking good. I want it a little bit softer than the stark black and white, being that the shelf sitter's already whitewashed. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to set that aside, not for too long, and I'm going to wax my surface. Just using our surface wax and my little applicator. And being that I distressed part of the body of the shelf sitter, that's the reason I'm waxing after distressing instead of before. Just rub the wax in. You don't have to wait for it to dry or anything. And then just rub it up. And you can feel with your fingers. You'll notice if you've missed a spot or anything, it'll feel different to you. Not quite as smooth. And the reason we wax is, number one, to protect our transfer, because it is adhesive backed and we don't want to inadvertently lift up any loose paint, anything that I've distressed, or a splinter or anything like that. And the second reason is so that if I make a mistake, hopefully I could wipe it up before it soaks into the surface and discolors it. I mean, if that happens where you can't and it has already stained the surface, just paint over it or sand it off, whatever. There's options. It's not like anything is ruined. You just go with it and find something that works. And sometimes along the way, you come out with something, well, not quite what you intended, but beautiful nonetheless, and sometimes even nicer. than what you had in your imagination. Okay, this feels good. Yes, I was tempted to use my greige, but it almost has a little bit of a green tint, and that's not what I wanted. Let me clean up my surface a little bit here. I've got some chalk paste on my mat. Our chalk paste is water soluble, so it makes cleanup easy. And I just want to clean that up so that I don't inadvertently get it on the other side of my shelf sitter, because I will probably use a different design on the opposite side. Now this really can be kind of amped up a little bit for Valentine's Day if you want, or you could just make it evergreen. I'm kind of going to go with an evergreen look. I'm using the gray and basically going to do the hearts and the cranberry jam. I'm not going to do anything special with it. I suppose I could put a ribbon around it or something, or add a flower or something of that nature, but I think just for everyday use, I'm going to leave it pretty much stark, or pretty much the way it is. We'll see how it looks when I'm done. If it needs a little something something, then we'll add a little something something. Isn't that the joy of crafting? I'm going to fuzz by transfer on my fuzzing towel, my fuzzing cloth, and fuzzing puts some lint on the back of the adhesive portion of the transfer so it doesn't stick quite as strongly. And generally for wood, I'll fuzz like 3 times. Hi Terry, good morning to you. How are you doing? If I were to do this on glass or mirror or metal, I would fuzz substantially more, probably around 8 times or so, because glass and metal are very smooth, non-porous, and I don't want it to be difficult to pull the transfer up. Like this is easy to lift up, but on glass or metals, especially the longer it sits, the more it sticks. If you've ever done a window, you know exactly what I mean. I'm not sure if I want to do the house outline or not. I wasn't going to at first, but I think I'm going to. And I think I'm going to do my hearts first, just to kind of get them out of the way so that I could use the squeegee for the rest of it. So I'm just taking my multi-tool and going over this with the cranberry jam, being careful not to get too close to my outline or my wording. Just need that little dot down there. Okay, so I've smoothed it out. That looks good. Take a little peek at it. It looks fine. I'm gonna lay that back down, press it down a little bit around where I want the outline of the house. And I'm actually gonna clean my multi-tool just in case I want to use that for the fine lines. If I find it a little tricky getting into a difficult area, I want it ready to go. So let me do that quickly here. Just a little spritz of water. Yes, if I had my water bath here, it would be a little bit easier. I'll admit it. Yeah, I find a good night's sleep can make a world of difference, and I have to admit, I was up at 3 with Mom. Sometimes she likes a snack, even though she has a snack before bed. Obviously, I'm trying to get some weight on her, right? We were up at 3 so she could have some juice and a little piece of coffee cake and whatever. And I made sure I had 2 alarms set before I went to bed, and I never heard either one of them. Actually, what woke me up was a message that came through this morning. And I looked at my phone and I said, oh no, I overslept. I don't do that. I'm usually up fairly early. I don't sleep that solid. So I realized I must have really, really needed it. Oops. but amazing the difference. I know when I get a good night's sleep, a really good night's sleep, while I might be a little groggy, like I guess I still am this morning, I'm just much more relaxed and at peace and whatever. So I've got a little part here where I might not have had my paste mixed up quite evenly. It looks like I have a little bit more black, but I think that'll kind of go along with the distressed look, so I'm not too worried about it. Trying to decide if I wanted to use my squeegee here or my moldy tool. I think I could do it with a squeegee. Whoops. Spin this around a little bit. Oops, and I plopped a bunch on the edge where I went off, so it's a little difficult to scrape that off. Let me kind of clean that up a bit. And let's do a peel and reveal. That heart, I must have missed the bottom and I didn't catch it. So I'm going to come back and do the bottom part of my heart because I know that it's closed. It's not open there. Make sure I got all that well enough. I thought I checked it, but I must have missed it. Let's take a look at that. Nope, it's still closed. I mean, it's still open. Maybe it is an open heart. I guess it is. I'm trying to push. Oh. Paste through an area of that. You know, it really does look. I'm just kind of trying to see what's here. If I have a clump of paste there that dried and it didn't go through, or if it's the design. It's the design. Shows what I know, right? Look at how quick and easy. I think that gray is just the right touch. I didn't want the starkness of black and white. So it's kind of evergreen. Put it out there for Valentine's, but you could in reality leave it up all year. Quick, simple, easy, and a nice creative start to my weekend. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you make it a great day today. Do something good for yourself. Enjoy your weekend. See you soon.